Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of creating cards for my 100-day project. Tonight's card's gonna have a little bit more work to it, but it's still gonna be a simple card. And let's get started. So I'm gonna start off with a card base in this green color. It is 8.5 by 5.5, so that folded in half, it will make standard card 5.5 by 4.25. I also have a black card, and it's just single. It's not it's just a square. It's not a fold card, and it measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So just like 1/8 around smaller, just so that you can barely see that green edge around. And then a white piece of cardstock that's going to be 4 inches wide by 5 1/4, so that you'll have just that little bit of showing all the way around. Okay, now today we're using the sticky note stamp set. This is what it looks like. It's got a bunch of different cacti and some punny verbiage. Looking sharp, stuck on you, free hugs. I'm just saying aloe. Even if I'm prickly, thanks for sticking by me. Can't touch this. It's got a couple little flowers to add to it as well. So I've already taken the cactus images and I've lined them up on my block, so they just make a row of cacti. And then I'm going to use a black ink, but I'm not going to use just a standard black ink because I'll be coloring them in with marker. I want the ink to be fade resistant and a dye ink so that it will not run or bleed when I add the marker to it. So I'm using this Memento in Tuxedo Black. And instead of putting the stamp, the stamps to the ink pad, I put the ink pad to the stamps to make sure I get good coverage all the way. And it's just going to make the outline of the cacti, so that then I can color it in. And do I have ink on my fingers already? Gosh darn it. Okay, so then start on the clean side. I know that I want at least one good stamp image where you can see the full figures of the cactuses, of the cacti. I keep saying that wrong. So I'm going to press it down really well. And some of it, the image is going to hang off the side and cut off. That's okay. That's okay. So then I'm going to ink it up again. Make sure I get it nice and dark. Then I'm going to shift the image just a little bit and above this line. And parts of the image are gonna run off the card, but that's okay. Then I'll have to come back in and fill this one. So it feels like I'm gonna run over this little guy. So I'm gonna take a bit of scrap cardstock and just cover that up. I'm just going to be cheating a little bit, but we're okay. And I'm going to stamp that one down to finish off our line. And then ink it up one more time. And we'll get the bottom. Let's do it right about there. Ink it up. that we can get this corner filled. We'll do it right there. So now it looks like if you had rows running and then you cut that block out. So that's good. Then using markers, and I just pulled out some green markers that I had, yellow, red, let's see, maybe a couple of brown. And I'm just going to start coloring in the each individual cactus. So now we can just imagine that all this stuff is getting colored in, and I'm doing a whole bunch of shadowing. And you know, if you're gonna make several cards like this, you could just do all your stamping at once and then pass the cards over to your little helpers. I know we all have little helpers running around. And let them color. Let them help you with all this extra work. Just creating a little bit of shadow. I know it's a little messy, but that's okay in some areas. Depending on what kinds of markers you have, you could even clean up some of those edges with the eraser. And this is just the twin marker shin heart, and so it helps clean up some of that. After a while, this, it's like it bleaches it or something. Some of that green should disappear in a little while. So anyways, through the magic of television, imagine that we colored in all of our cacti. So Deanna, I'm using these Shin hand art markers. They're dual tipped. On one, it's a fine point, and on the other is a broad. And close to my heart used to sell these. We've got different set now of blendable markers, so they basically works the same, but the ones we have now are tri-blend, so they'll give you more color combinations than these markers. You can look on the website to see those. So once I have this part done, then I can start building up my card base. And we're going to have, just remember, a little small 1/8 margin on here. And then right here. And that black helps pop out the green color. Come on, come on. Try to do it as evenly as I can. Okay. And then we will take a piece of white cardstock so we can stamp our sentiment. This one was 1 inch, it's 1 inch wide. And my sentiment says, thanks for sticking by me. Since I already have this ink pad out, I'll just ink that one up. And I'm going to put it over to the right side. And then, you know, we've got a little bit of space here. And I hate to waste space when we've got cute little flowers that we can add. So I'm going to take a little flower and maybe a yellow. It's canary yellow. Just add it over here on the side, just for a little pop of color. And then, let's see, I have a 1 1/4 by 3-inch black, but let's see here. I don't need this whole white piece, so I'm gonna cut some of that off and then dovetail it. And then, let's see. If I move it all the way there and kind of eyeball the dovetail on the black. So I want that little white neck off there. And easy enough to put on that. A little bit of foam tape, because I like adding foam tape on the back of some of the card elements to bring them up and give them dimension. Especially with a card that's flat like this, where all the pieces are paper and everything is just stacked on top of each other. Having a little element like this really adds a little bit more to it. And then gotta add some bling. So I've got these black dots. Just gonna add one. Oh, that's too big. Hold on a minute. I've got some smaller ones here somewhere behind me. Here we go. It's a little tiny black one. Right there. Just for a little something. And I think we can call that a day on our cactus card. Thanks for sticking by me. Thank you all for watching me. This is my 5th night doing a live video to make a card. Normally this would have taken longer, but I didn't think you want to watch me color. So anyways, here's the finished product. I'll also post it on my Instagram. And I hope y'all will join me tomorrow night and we'll make another card. The videos, generally, I try and keep them 10 minutes. I think we've been 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm going to try and keep them short and just show you how to make a quick and simple card. Thank you, and good night, and stay safe.